What's up, Mom? How you doing?
Good, Tim. We're about to go to the movies. Why don't you ride up the Beltline and meet us there?
All right.
All right,
See
bye.
you. Shred Lights has just released a new set of Bluetooth lights. And like many of you guys, I'm incredibly excited about this because even though the Shred Lights were an amazing feature or product to have on your boards, you have to admit it was a little cumbersome when it was time to ride and you have to turn on all these different lights one by one. And we're going to touch on my perspective of these Shred Lights. But I want to first start off by talking about the Shred Lights in general and how I became affiliated with Shred Lights. My relationship with Shred Lights is an interesting one, primarily because I was not given the Shred Lights, or at least my initial Shred Lights. I purchased them. When I purchased my initial board, it was a budget board. So we got our electric what, Jam?
Skateboard.
Let's take the.
I wish I had
Help
one.
me take the plastic off.
My dad is gonna buy me an electric skateboard too.
Yeah, I am.
He's gonna buy me a cheap one.
No, it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna get you a cheap one. I probably might get you one of these. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And like a lot of people out there, when you buy the board, you're kind of tapped out with money. And I was looking at the Shred Lights and I was like, man, is that a little bit too expensive for these particular lights? And I remember people saying stuff to me like, man, just buy a regular flashlight, mount it to your skateboard with P-clips and just rock it out. And I took that advice, and something happened one night when I was riding the board. I was riding with my son and the vibrations caused the P-clamp to break. The flashlight fell off of my board and I ran over the flashlight. That flashlight almost threw me off of my board. It almost caused me to get hurt. And that's when I bought my first Shred Lights and I decided to make the investment because at a certain point, it's all about the safety when you're out here riding and not about just always saving money. So, are the new Shred Lights worth the investment? What are my final thoughts on these lights? I like the lights a lot. And I think that individuals who are fans of Shred Lights are definitely gonna like them. I even think that individuals who were somewhat opposed to purchasing Shred Lights will now be more willing to consider the lights. And let me tell you why. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, to me, one of the downfalls of the Shred Lights was the fact that you had to manually turn on each light individually. And that can be incredibly cumbersome, especially if you're somebody like myself or my family where we would have up to 4 to 5 Shred Lights operating at one time, 2 in the front, 2 in the back of the board, maybe even a light on top of your helmet or whatnot. So just imagine turning on each of those lights individually. And this is something that Shred Lights completely rectified with the new lights. So the top features that I think are gonna make people who are maybe Shred Light doubters come on over to the dark side.
Not with me, then you're my enemy.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
Are the fact that when you turn on one of the lights, and this is manually, like if you just bend over and turn it on, or if you have it on your helmet, it automatically turns on all the other lights. This is a really good look because it's a time saver type situation. I think one of the other things that's going to really intrigue a lot of individuals as well is the fact that you can have the lights in like a standby mode type situation. which is similar to what we see with a lot of the new electric skateboards, where when you turn on your remote, it automatically turns on your board. Shred Light has something very similar in that the board or the lights can detect when you're actually ready to ride, and the lights actually turn on automatically. So this is a really cool feature as well. And finally, I think one of the other features that's going to really maybe help people gravitate toward this is the fact that these lights now act as brake lights as well. So when you're riding the board and you brake or you slow down, the lights can detect that you're slowing down, and it actually turns into like a brake light. Now this is very useful because Shred Light does a really good job of like casting light behind the board for like a really good distance. So it's not just the light itself braking, but because the light casts so much, you can literally see that you're braking very easily and from a distance. So this is a really good look. Now, just to really quickly touch on some of the other features that people are going to like, you can adjust the light intensity in the app, which is amazing. When you're in the app, you can also set how you want your lights to flash. If you want them to flicker, if you want to just be straight on. But these are kind of things that we've accustomed to seeing with the Shred Lights, but I think the other things that I mentioned are going to really be the things that help people decide whether or not they want to make the investment. So you guys know I like to give you the nitpicks. So what are my nitpicks as it relates to these Shred Lights? I really only have one. And it's weird because it might be something that they're able to fix through maybe an over-the-air update, but I was rocking my lights and I had them set up to where they detect that I'm actually riding. And this is really cool for a variety of different reasons. Like I said, it's time saving. You can just jump on your board, just ride out. But what I did notice is that it was really sensitive at times. So I was charging the lights, and I think I walked by or bumped the chair or whatever it was charging on, and the lights kept turning on because of, I guess they were feeling vibration or whatever the case may be. So that is really the only downfall, because what happened was, if you're not paying attention and you have it set into that mode, you could bump them and accidentally turn the lights on while they're charging, or even if they're just sitting there, and if you're not paying attention, you don't know, and the lights are just draining for no reason. But to get around this, and what I decided to do was, when I knew I was not riding or if I was charging my lights, I went in the app and I turned that feature off so that no matter how much vibrations the lights felt or whatever, it did not interfere and make the lights automatically turn on. So that was a workaround. So it's almost not really a nitpick. Now, if you're interested in these Shred Lights, don't forget to use your boy's link and discount code. I'll put the information below. It'll save you some cheese, but it also supports the channel. As always, I will see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Peace.